this op art drawing looks like a paper that's been folded, or maybe it looks like you're looking up at buildings. For the first step, you'll need a pencil to make 3 lines on your paper. They're kind of slanted. Now, I made a mistake right here, actually. See how I put my ruler on my paper and I slanted it? Well, that's what you need to do too. Put it just like that so the top's a little wider. But draw on the other side of your ruler, okay? I drew on the right, and now there's like a huge space. Sorry about that. I didn't notice the mistake till just now. But if you make them similar, it'll work. Just make them slightly slanted and make sure that they go from the very top and then off the paper. Okay, now we're going to switch to a marker, but if you need to use a pencil first just to practice, that's fine, but I don't want you to have to draw over everything again, so try to do it with marker. Alright, these lines are going to be diagonally slanted upward in that first column, so we're only looking at that first area. The ruler is positioned so that the lower part is on the left and the higher part is on the right. So the higher part is touching the pencil line, the lower part is touching the edge of the paper. We're going to do that all the way down. I turned my paper though because I really like to draw with my ruler on the left and my hand that I draw with on the right. It's just easier that way. You'll probably find a way that works for you, that you like to hold the ruler when making straight lines. It's just kind of like a preference. Okay, so another thing to watch for is when your ruler starts tilting. If it tilts and the space is no longer equal, just try to tilt it back so that the distance between is the same. How do you know it's the same? You just kind of guess. You can get a sense for it just by looking. If you were really exact, you could measure, but you don't really need to do that. Okay, so now we're going to make lines that tilt the opposite way. So this time they go downward. The higher side is touching the first pencil line. The lower side is touching the second pencil line. Okay, so since it's a marker, you can put the ruler so that you can still see the first lines from the first column, and that way you can make them connect. See how they connect? Make sure you can just barely see that line touching your ruler, and then they'll match right up. Alright, on these last 2 rows I decided to freehand because making short lines straight is much easier than making long lines straight. Alright, try to make it look like a pattern. The top looks like a zigzag. Diagonally up is the same color, so both of those areas are yellow. You can use whatever color you want, and I recommend crayon or colored pencil for this. A marker just might be too dark and you won't see those lines. Now I'm blocking off a section so I can color faster. That's a little trick I use sometimes. It's fun till the pencil slides under the paper. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this simple but pretty effective op art drawing. There's a pretty good sense of space happening in it if you imagine that they're buildings or you imagine that it's paper folded.